Listen to that, you guys. Super dancey music. Let's take a 30-second dance break and go. Go. Dance break. Dance break. I know. That's good. That's it, people. That's it. You got it. That's right, you guys. It's the Brother Sisters Smart Dumb Fun. Wait. The beat's about to drop. The beat just dropped. That's right. All right. I'm taking that music out. And fade.
Oh,
that was
man.
very
That was,
exciting. I know.
that was,
Best
that
one
was
yet.
good, Jenny.
I think so too. I'm super pleased with myself right now. So, hi everybody. Welcome. Annette May is with us. So, if you're wondering who this person is, that's not Anne or Janice. This is Annette May, and this show is all about Annette. So, Annette, welcome. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
And you're welcome. And so we are going to take a few minutes. So Anne and I are going to kind of do our thing, and then we are going to dig into to talking to Annette and asking her a bunch of questions and getting a bunch of answers and all that sort of good stuff. So I'm going to take a second. I'm going to take our brand off. And for those of you that are just joining us, welcome. We are Anne and Janice brothers. We are the Brother Sisters. It's a Smart Dumb Fun, the Brother Sisters. Jazz hands, yes. I know. Look, there's Annette. There's a picture of you. Can you see yourself?
I can. Yes.
Awesome.
I rated Google. I was like, Annette May, Cicerone, and a bunch of pictures back. I was like, oh, this is a good picture.
That's right.
Hey,
So we will talk.
That's not my Instagram.
It's not your Instagram? You're not
No.
at Aussie Annette? Oh, I got you.
There's a typo. I don't know if you want to
No,
talk
there-
about that later. It says
Oh, no,
Aussie
actually,
Matt.
that's okay.
Aussie
I got-
Matt.
That's all right, because when on the last slide, when I'm giving your information, I have that one perfectly correct, and I know it because I double checked it. So
Nice
there you
job,
go. Thank you. I know. Thanks for the typo though. So it's all good. All right. So for those of you that don't know, this is maybe your first time listening to us. You don't know what's going on. We are Anne and Janice brothers, therefore the Brother Sisters. We are in our 50s, which means that we have both made and received mixed tapes. That's right. All hail the 80s. That is correct. We talk about smart stuff, dumb stuff, fun stuff, or any combination of the three. We are not hip or cool. This is because sometimes people who are younger than we are tell us that we're cute, which is code for old. So that's fine. That's right. We're not sexy, see above, and we are also we're not a celebrity podcast, well, not yet, and we're not a murder podcast. So we don't talk about who got murdered, mysterious murders. And again, you guys, we've been told we are good to listen to in the background of your life. That's right, you guys. The Brother Sisters are background noise, but we are the best background noise available to you.
We're fun background noise.
And do you think someday that we'll be like on some sort of like YouTube channel of just ambient noise that you go to sleep to?
Probably either that or they'll be listening to us. Like they'll be all the millennials and Gen Zers will be tired of watching Friends and they'll just listen to us. I'm like, oh, I fell asleep to the Brother Sisters last night.
That's great. It's like, you don't need ambient, you need the Brother Sisters. There you go. I love that. Let's see what else. What else? You can find us on our website. You can find us on Spotify, the YouTube, or the Facebook, or Instagram. This actually is kind of a big deal. This is our very first Instagram Live. That's right. Instagram Live is finally a thing. StreamYard is finally hooked up with Instagram, and apparently we are Instagramming live, which is very exciting because this is a brand new platform for us. So huzzah!
Hello, Instagrammers.
Hello, Instagram Livers. I know this is very exciting. And again, you guys, we are on Spotify. We drop the Spotify podcast usually Sunday night or early Monday. Just remember, this is not a rated PG or G or PG-13. This is a E for explicit. Sometimes we say naughty things. Like, for instance, Anne made a vibrator joke last week. So
I'm going to say something now. Balls.
So if you're listening with your children, either put the children to bed or just let them listen and then answer questions afterwards, which I always think is the best way to go. And again, join us on Spotify. Hey, and I'm going to talk a little bit about this at the end of the podcast, but like us, love us, follow us, hit the bell, whatever. Just make sure you're following us and help us monetize someday. Okay, we got all that out of the way.
Good job.
All right. As always, the first part of the show, we always talk about something smart, dumb, or fun that we did or encountered this week. And would you like to start? Because you had a big week this week.
I did a very smart thing, which I'll talk about next time. But my very dumb thing this time was that I waited in line outside in the freezing cold for 4 hours so that I could get my one last cake from Bunzir Bakery in Kalamazoo. They have been open for 62 years, and as far as I'm concerned, they are the best cake or best bakery.
And we lost you there.
Oh, you got me?
I got you back.
Okay. As I was saying, Bunzir is the best bakery for cake that I know of, and I was very sad to hear they were closing. And people were literally lining up since they announced their closing. They've been lining up every day, like 100 people in line before they open, and then they're only open as long as they have product, which means a couple hours, 2 to 3 hours. So I got myself Friday or Thursday morning first. I was the first in line, and I sat there for 4 hours outside. When I sat down, it was 29 degrees. I had my little chair, I had my books, I had my puffy coat, and I waited for 4 hours. And there's a picture of my cake on our feed right now. It says "Cake Bitch." Well, it doesn't say bitch because they wouldn't write bitch, but they wrote as close as they could without offending anybody's sensibilities. But I think it really gets the point across.
Annette, I see Annette's hand up. Do you have a question, Annette?
And did you ask them to write that on there?
Of course I did, because they're like, "Hey, do you want something written on your cake?" And I'm like, "Yes, cake, bitch."
I thought so.
So definitely. And it got a lot of laughs while I was purchasing it. So I posted it on our Facebook page, and I also posted it on my personal Facebook page because I thought it was so funny. And I'm sad that they will not be open. Jenny and I grew up with Bunzir cake. I mean, the best weddings in St. Joseph County always had Bunzir bakeries make their cake because they have the best freaking cake. I'm not kidding you. I never lie about cake. So if you have a chance, their last day is December 23rd. You will have to wait in line. They are not taking any advanced orders anymore. Tip the ladies nice because they have had a very hard 3 weeks. You know, people like, well, I want and people like, they're only making very specific things. So you could get one cake, you could get 2 packaged baked goods, and you could get 6 pastry. And so they have a limited amount. They only had like 6 different pastries and like 2 different packaged baked goods. But if you want a cake, your next opportunity is, I think, Wednesday. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You only have 4 days left. 4 more days to get the best cake ever. And I got mine.
And to be clear, it's only going to get worse as it was really bad the first few days, and it's going to be really bad again this week because people are like, I was putting it off. I'm glad to say that my sister shared her delicious cake bitch with me, and she gave me 2 eclairs because not only does Bunzir make the best cake ever, they make the best eclairs I've ever eaten. So good. As I was shoving an eclair into my face the other night, I was like, I'm so glad I got to have one more of these. In fact, I would say I love their eclairs maybe as much or more than their cake. And so that kind of breaks my heart a little bit because I know that is a bold statement, but I'm not afraid to make it. So
yeah, and I've never stood in line for any extended period of time for anything. So this was my one chance of like, I've never done this. I'm gonna go do it for cake, and I did.
For cake, you did. Well, and I would my dumb thing is this week, and I don't mean to be tough on my 8th grade students, but my thing is dumb stuff. It's just dumb stuff my kids said this week, and I usually don't, like I said, I don't bring up the dumb stuff my 8th graders say because they're only 14, they're just kids. But the dumb stuff this week was one of my 8th graders wanted to know who the president of Michigan was. And this was from my friend
Did you
Tara.
say your mom?
No, your mom. No, she pointed out that there is no president of Michigan, that there's a governor. And she's like, yeah, I know, Governor Whitmer, but who's the president of Michigan? So I don't think that got very far. And then the other dumb thing that I learned this week was somebody wanted to know if you were grown from bone marrow of a petri dish, would you be an American citizen? I'm not really sure what that means. But they were talking about
either.
What it takes to be an American citizen. So they were like, what if I'm born in an airplane like that's between borders? Am I an American citizen? And then somebody brought up what if I'm bone marrow grown in a petri dish? And then of course it's that idea that, well, do you know how all of this works? And the answer is no.
God bless their little hearts.
So Yeah. So anyway, I don't know. I'm failing at my job, so we'll just go with that.
Jenny,
Eh,
you can only teach, you only have so many minutes in a day, you know, you only,
well, that's the truth.
and you hope they come with a certain amount of learned knowledge already. And sometimes it
Nope.
really just smacks you right in the head when you realize you're like, oh, we're
Oh, they don't
starting at
know
a
any.
much higher level
Oh,
than you need to.
yeah. Well, we're starting like at birth level knowledge. So
Yeah.
anywho, but the good news is don't have to worry about that because right now Annette May is with us, and we are going to ask Annette a bunch of questions. Anne, would you like to take over?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say thank you, Annette, for joining us today. Annette is a beer wizard. That's, I think, what Cicerone means in Greek is beer wizard. So she's going to talk to us today about beer. But before we get started with all that, I did want to ask her, Annette, could you tell us 3 things about yourself that you would like our audience to know about you?
Okay. Well, hi everyone out there, and hi Anne, and hi Jenny again, and thanks for having me on.
Oh,
Um,
pleasure.
3 things. I think the first one is I have some very weird friends.
Weird how? Wait,
That's
are you talking about Anne and I? What?
Very weird but lovable friends, I will add.
That is
Okay,
true.
what else? I don't know if you can see behind me. I have some very weird things in my house. All right, let's see. Can you see the matador on the wall?
I can.
Yeah, and if you go like this, I got a bunch of matadors up there. So, I collect matadors, and I won't tell you why because it's sort of too long and involved. But I have a lot of weird stuff, a lot of weird shit in my house, which I absolutely love. People come here and they go, "Oh, your house is so weird." And one of the really weird things in my house is in the basement right now, making me beer. So that's
I
kind
was
of cool.
going to say, is it Mike? Is Mike the weirdest thing in your house?
I wouldn't say he's the weirdest, but he definitely ranks up there with one of the weird things in my house, along with my
So
many
top three,
weird
three weird.
accoutrements, let's say.
I love that word. Accoutrement.
Accoutrements.
Um,
Yeah. All right, what's the third thing going to be? All right, so I'm living proof. So I'm going to do something really dorky in a minute, but I am living proof. I weigh 100 pounds. I'm only 5'1". But I'm a very small person, and I'm super, super fit, and I only weigh 100 pounds. And so I'm living proof that you can drink beer every single day and maintain a svelte figure. There you go.
good question.
Um, yes.
How much do you work out?
Well, this is why I'm going to be a dork, because I'm going to stand there and I'm going to give you a little bodybuilding pose. I'm a bodybuilder, and I work out. I just cut back, actually. I was working out 6 days a week, 2 hours a day, but my body started to tell me that I got sick. So I was like, okay, you got to cut this back, because I'm
So see,
also old.
I did not know you were a bodybuilder. That makes you even more of a wizard. And real
But
quick
you know what?
question.
I'm going to be really dorky here, because all right, one thing. So I used to have sort of like big, woman things, and now they're gone. I don't have a cleavage anymore,
Boobs?
but I have a kind of muscle cleavage instead. Yeah, but
You got pecs, not boobs.
yeah, exactly. So, I'm just going to do the dorky, like, oh, yeah, all right. I don't know which way my thing goes here, but I have like really, really big biceps, really beefy biceps, and really big Can you see those?
Yeah. Holy
Yeah,
crap, that's what a tricep is actually supposed to look
I
like.
was going to
There's the
say,
horseshoe. There it is.
I've never seen mine.
No,
Yeah, and I wish I
mine's
could do
just
this. I have like, massive.
so Annette, did you have
So
to
look
get
at
a
this. Anyway,
license for
I'm
those
being a real
guns?
dork, like, look at this.
Seriously,
Uh,
do you have holsters for those guns?
So
No,
yeah.
they do
So
all the
anyway,
holster
my
jokes.
point my point of being a total dork is that by showing everyone my muscles is that you can drink beer every day and look like and do this. Like you don't have to be overweight. Because a lot of people are like, well, if I drank beer every day, I'd be fat. And people look at me all the time. They say, you don't drink beer. Look how fit and healthy you are. I do every day.
that's
So
Sometimes
because
you
there you
make
go.
it and you drink it. So
I was going to say
yeah,
that's because isn't beer like one of those superfoods? That's it. It's a superfood.
It's
superfoods.
fine. It's got lots of vitamins, some health benefits. It's good for you. Beer is truly good for you. It's got lots of
I
good stuff.
agree.
Excellent.
And my quick question for you is when you said that Cicerone means beer wizard, did you find that definition on Wikipedia?
I did, Jenny. I did. And of course, it must be right because
Amazing.
I found it on the internet.
That's right. Good job. Wow. All right.
I'll tell
Sorry.
you what a beer
Anyway.
means later.
Okay. Good. Good.
Oh,
Okay. So that was all right. So those three things about you, very good. I did not realize you were a bodybuilder. That's
yeah.
complete news to me. So that's amazing. So my body's been built by carbs and lack of exercise. So all right. Sorry. And go ahead.
Okay, so Annette, can you tell us how did you come to love beer?
So that was, kind of a weird it was sort of, I fell into a second career by accident. So I'm being serious now. This really did happen in my mid-30s. In Chicago. I used to live in Chicago, and I never drank beer. I came from a total non-drinking family. Never grew up drinking. Just not at all. I was kind of a big pothead. But anyway, so I needed a job basically, and I got a job in a bar, bartending. I thought it might be fun to bartend. I don't know why, because I never hung out at bars, and I certainly didn't drink beer. But it was kind of serendipity. I ended up in a bar that had a lot of really interesting imported beers. And if anyone out there's ever had a Belgian beer, they're really complex and really beautiful, and they don't taste like beer. I don't like to use that statement, but right now I'm just going to say they don't taste like beer, inverted commas. And that's really how I fell into it, because I was bartending and I had to taste this stuff to sell it, because I wanted to make money and get good tips and be educated and, give my customer a good experience. And I started tasting some really interesting, mostly imported beers, because this was 30 years or a long, long time ago, before all the craft beer that's out now. And that's how I sort of surprised myself. I had no idea what imported beer tastes like. I'd only ever tasted the standard, American lagers, Australian lagers, whatever. The other thing I should have pointed out, number 4 about me, I'm Australian. So,
Oh, that's
that's
that
how
answers.
and
Okay,
the
not
more
from
I tasted
Mississippi.
beer,
Okay, got it.
the more I tasted beer, the more I found that I just really enjoyed many, many things about it, because there's so many different flavors in beer. So that's why I fell in love with it.
That's
Okay,
awesome.
that's good.
In my
You know,
mid-30s.
and I've never asked you that. I just assumed that you were born drinking beer because you're Australian. And
Well, no, I come from, a nicer Jewish family where, very, I'm going to use this as a generalization. Like, of course, there are Jews that drink, I'm one of them, but especially back, I'm old, I'm way older than you guys. None of my family drunk, Jews in general, very much a generalization, don't drink a real lot. So, totally non-drinking family. Extended, my aunts, my uncles, my cousins, like no one. There was never any alcohol anywhere that I went and grew up with. My parents didn't drink. Nobody really drinks.
all right, and it's also interesting to know that this was like a second career for you. So, if you're thinking, oh, this is the career I'm going to have, you're like, no, you can always have a second or third or fourth
You
career.
can. I was 35, and
Or-
I used to be a registered nurse. So you probably know that, Anne.
I did know you used to be a nurse.
Yeah. So and I couldn't nurse anymore for complicated reasons. So I became a bartender. There you go.
Perfect.
That's awesome.
Perfect.
Very cool. All
All
right.
right.
Next question.
Our next
Okay, hang
question.
on. I gotta bring us back into the there it is. Okay.
So, Annette, what is a cicerone?
So there's 2 answers to that question. The original meaning of the word is a docent. So you two know what a docent is, like a guide in a museum.
Right.
So that's actually the original meaning of the word. It's a docent. And I actually found it in that use in a book I read a couple of years ago that was written in the 1920s. It was a book about Virginia Woolf and blah, blah, blah. And they actually came across the word Cicerone. It's like, we're going to travel together and I will be your Cicerone. And I went, it's the actual word Cicerone in its original context. But anyway, it fell out of use in the English language. And the Cicerone program is a program that educates and gives credentials to professional beer workers, to people that work in the beer industry. So it's a professional accreditation certification organization. And the guy that started it up wanted a word for a beer professional. It's akin to a sommelier for wine. And most people, or many, many people know what a sommelier is. That's your wine expert that knows about the wine and comes with the wine and shows you the wine and recommends the food in the restaurant. So we are as educated and we're on par with them as far as credentials goes. But the guy that started this certification organization wanted a separate word. He didn't want to call us beer sommeliers. So after a lot of probing and researching, he came up with the word Cicerone, which means a guide.
Beer guide. You're a beer
So
guide.
we are beer
Beer
guides.
guide.
So that's what the word Cicerone actually means in the modern context. And actually, if you look up now, if you actually Google Cicerone, you're much more likely to find a beer guide or, a beer professional rather than the original use of the word. And it is a registered trademark too. You can't just say I'm a Cicerone. You have to earn the credentials by passing pretty rigorous exams, and they're very similar to the exams that sommeliers set for wine.
Excellent. I didn't know any. I mean, I knew you knew a lot about beer, and I knew you had done a lot of testing to get this certification. But I was like,
Yeah.
I didn't realize that docent meant guide, and that just makes so much sense because you really are a beer guide.
Well, we try to be. We try to elevate the experience for the consumer, because beer is, in general, pretty misunderstood by the average consumer.
I think so. I think most people don't realize how sophisticated it can be.
I don't know if it's
Agreed.
sophisticated, but it's just very complex, and it's got a lot going
Complex.
on.
Interesting. Yes. All
It
right.
is like women, complex. I like it.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Now, Annette, I know you're involved in an organization called Fermenta. Could you
Yes.
please tell us about this organization?
Sure. So Ferment is a non-for-profit, first and foremost. So we started, there was a group of, so I'm just going to sort of step back further. The beer industry in general, and it's the same all around the world, is mostly dominated by men. It's it's one of the many industries where women are underrepresented. But, nevertheless, there's always been women women brewers and women involved in serving beer, and, women in the beer industry. There's actually an international organization called Pink Boot Society that many, many women professionals belong to. But in 2014, a group of female beer professionals in Michigan got together, and we talked about starting a group for women that we could educate and mentor and possibly give scholarship to help them advance their careers if they were in the brewing industry. But not only that, to help them get into the industry. The Pink Boots that I just mentioned, membership for Pink Boots, you have to be already in the industry. So we wanted to sort of take a bit of a step back and said, well, there's a lot of women out there that would like to be in the industry, or maybe they're home brewers or whatever, or maybe they're engineers or biochemists or have some sort of science background, which helps you. And let's see what we can come up with that might be able to help them by networking and by education, get into the industry. So we started a 501(c) back in 2014, and we're just about to enter our 10th year. It's Michigan-based, but now our membership is actually nationwide. Actually, we've got a couple of people outside of the US too, which is nice. So you can become a member no matter where you live. But we basically give scholarship and educate. I'm the scholarship director, and we've given out over $25,000 now of scholarship to women. And it's not just beer either, it's all the fermented beverages. So it's mostly beer, just based on the fact that most of the board members and the majority of our members are beer women. But we also deal with cider and mead and wine and spirits, and actually a little bit on the fermented food side too.
Now, how much, can you say that number again? How much money have you guys put out for scholarships?
25,000.
That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, and no major sponsors or anything. This is just, we've had some scholarships donated to us, the actual scholarship, but we don't have any major sponsors. We've raised all the money ourselves, just by our memberships and by events in 10 years. So
Sorry, I'm typing
awesome.
as you are talking because this is really awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
glad
very
you
interesting.
type fast, because I can't.
Yeah, Jenny's a fast typer. I am not. Unless you want a lot of mistakes. If you don't mind a lot of mistakes, I can type a little faster.
That's the fifth thing to know about me. I'm a techie moron, and I can't type, and I don't know how, and I'm not cool enough to have an iPhone, because I wouldn't even know how to use one. So
it's not.
We're not cool enough to have iPhones because we don't want to spend that much money. So
I don't want to spend that much money on a phone. So
I don't have Siri, or I don't know how to use any of that stuff.
Jenny has. Do you have Siri, Jenny, or do you have Alexa?
We have Alexa. We have
probably
the. Sorry, she's listening right now. Sorry. Be quiet. She's listening. All right. So I just wanted to make sure I have this correct. So you said Fermenta is a nonprofit. It is to help women enter we'll call it the beverage the fermented beverage industry, not just
Mhm.
beer, but you said wine and spirits as well. Michigan-based, but it's now a national group, and you have a scholarship program that you help women get into the business, and I think that is
Or
fantastic.
advance their careers, or education if they're already in there.
Okay, so
Yeah,
that's
you can pop our webpage up on there. It's Fermenter Michigan, all one word, .org.org.
I'm going to bring that up so you guys can see it real quick like a bunny. There it is. I'm going to go ahead and share this tab. Can you guys see that all right? There it
Yeah.
is.
Fermenter.
Okay, so that is the Fermenta. Yep. New scholarship alert. So, all right, and we will actually when I go ahead and put this this slideshow online, I will make sure that we add that address to it so that people
Thank you.
know and they can find it more easily. And we'll also put it on our Facebook page, and
Awesome.
we'll put it in our notes for the Spotify. So we'll make sure that word gets out for sure.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Next question, Anne, are you ready?
I am ready. So, why don't we drink some beer? And
All right.
Annette suggested 3 beers for us to try. So this is our first beer. It's the Annie's Export Lager, and it's from Grizzly Peak Brewing Company in Ann Arbor. And I know the brewer.
Let's say, who's that?
I know him. We all know him, but Anne knows him
I know him better.
in a different way.
She knows
Can I
him
say in
in
a
a
biblical way?
Biblical,
You
yes,
can.
biblical way, exactly, as in the Bible. Yes, so Duncan Williams is the brewery manager at Grizzly Peak, and he is also my husband. So we're going to start with his guess who's the Annie in the Annie's Export Lager? Guess.
Really?
It's me.
All
It's
right.
me.
So,
I'm the Annie.
hi, Duncan. Before we start drinking beer, though, we're going to do a little sensory work, okay?
Oh, okay.
Wait,
Okay.
hang on. I have
I
to.
want you to pour the beer, so please don't pour the beer yet.
Okay.
So,
I haven't
Don't
poured
pour
the
the
beer
beer.
yet.
Got it. Nope.
Okay.
She's
Okay.
sitting there taunting me.
all right. So I asked you two to get a candy. So what I want to, I'm going to run you through a little sensory exercise, and so everybody out there watch this. The point of doing this is how important it is to smell things, and this is everything, not just beer, but it's really, really important when you eat or when you drink any beverage that you actually smell it. I'm going to start by saying that the way our heads are built and our nose and everything like that, and our brains work and blah, 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 about 70% of the overall flavor of anything, 70% of it is the aroma. All right. So it's basically split up into, I'm just going to say 2. There's actually 3, but to keep it simple, the flavor of something is a combination of the aroma and actually, remember when we were kids and we learned about sweet, sour, and salty on our tongue? All that stuff?
Yes.
Yeah. So about 30% is that, sweet, sour, salty, bitter, umami, and fat, which we taste on our tongue, and the other 70 is aroma. And that gives us a combination of flavor. So aroma plus taste, tongue taste, equals flavor. So I'm going to prove that to you right now, Jenny and Anne, and then everyone can watch. So, try this at home sometimes. So first of all, your brain's already kicked in. This is usually when I do this in a class, I do it live. I don't tell you what flavor the jelly bean is. I just give it to you and you have to figure it out for yourself. But obviously the way we're set up, I can't. But what I want you to do, take one of the jelly beans. All right. And if possible, take one that you didn't taste so you don't know what flavor it is. Right? But what I want you to do is I want you to block your nose and I want you to chew it for 20 seconds with your nose blocked. And I want you to try and figure out what flavor it is with your nose blocked. So go, put it in your mouth, chew it up, keep your nose blocked, 20 seconds. I'm going to time you. And try and figure out what flavor it is. And don't cheat because this is, you're just proving this to yourself. This isn't a test.
Or does it taste like anything?
Well, okay, so unblock your nose and breathe in.
That's crazy.
So
That's
now,
crazy.
hopefully, now that you smelt the thing, you should be able to figure out what flavor it is, whether it's orange or
lemon,
pineapple or lemon or whatever.
Mine's definitely lemon.
Mine
with
kind of
your
tastes
nose blocked.
appley.
So you only figure that out when you smelt it, right?
Oh
Yeah, no, seriously.
Yeah. So
It
with your
didn't
nose
taste
blocked,
like anything.
well, you should have registered maybe some sweetness on your tongue from the fact that
Yes.
it was a candy. All right.
Yeah,
So
it
my
tasted
point of
sweet,
doing
but I
that-
didn't know what flavor it was.
No.
All
Not
right. So
until I
my
unblocked
point,
my nose.
Yes,
my
that's the
point in
coolest thing
doing
ever.
that is that if you don't smell, I'm going to just say beer now because we're talking about beer, but it's the same with anything, any kind of beverage. If you don't smell your beer, you're not going to get the flavor of the beer. You're just going to taste carbonation, which is bitter. So
Okay.
one of the things that people tell me all the time is I don't like beer because it's got an aftertaste and blah, blah, blah. And it's not always, but many times it's because they drink it out of the bottle or the can and you can't smell it properly. So all you're getting mostly is the effect of the carbonation, which can be a little bit harsh and it can make beer taste much more bitter than it is. All right.
Okay.
So
All right.
that's a little exercise to you to prove that you must smell it to get the whole flavor of the beer. Beer has flavor. It's not just bitter or whatever like that. So I did ask you to bring 2 cans of the Annies.
Mm-hmm.
You both have 2 cans of the Annies in front of you?
Hang on, I gotta get my other.
Uh,
Hang on, I have to go get my other cans. I'll be right back. I'll be right back.
Oh, I don't want to get that. Oh, there we go. I have 2 cans.
All right. One of them I'm just going to get you, just let's wait till Jenny gets back. But one of you
Okay.
I'm going to get you to just smell it from the can. And the other one I'm going to get you to pour it into a glass and smell it from the glass.
Okay.
And I want you to note the difference. All right. So
Okay.
Jenny, let's open. All right. What I want you to do first, before open one can, I'm going to show you how I want you to pour the beer too. There's a little technique to pouring beer in the best way to showcase the beverage. All right.
Okay.
All right. So you're going to start. You're going to pour. Show me your glass again. All right. So I'm going to show you. I'm just going to pour the beer, and you can just do it after I do it. All right. You're going to start with the glass. Sorry, I have to get into the field of vision. You are going to start with the glass on the side. But, all right, so I'm going to pour it in. And when my glass is about half full, I'm going to upend it and I'm going to pour it like this. So I end up with some nice foam on top. All right. What I'm not going to do is pour the whole thing. What I'm not going to do is pour the whole thing on the side. So I end up with no foam. You're not going to do that. You're going to upend the glass about when the beer is about half to 3/4 full and pour it right down the middle to give yourself some foam.
So excited. All right.
So
Hang on.
when you've done that, then right. So I'll just wait for Jenny.
No. I feel like I'm like a kindergartner trying to.
All right. Now stand it upright and pour it right down the middle. Pour it hard.
Down.
Hold it up high and pour it hard. Foam. Beautiful.
Yeah, look at me. Boom.
Now I want you to take the other can and I want you to open it up and I want you to smell, first of all, the beer from the can, and then I want you to smell the beer from the glass. All right. So what I want you to do is go like this. Just wave it under your nose a little bit. And see what, you don't have to tell me, but see what you can smell. Now I want you to do the same with the glass.
You can smell this one more.
And then you can get in a little bit closer. You know, don't dunk your nose in it so it gets wet, although you can eat a little bit if you want. But like, you're going to notice that you can smell your beer a lot more when you've got it in the glass. All right.
Well, it's like it's like when you have it in the can, you can only smell it like one nostril at a time, where it's like you get the full experience when you have the glass.
Well, yeah, and pouring it into the glass releases all the bubbles, and that foam traps all the aroma compounds and helps deliver it into your nose. So the reason I like people, or what I suggest people to pour their beer into a glass is, you know, and that ties back to that little candy thing that you just did. You can't get the full flavor of it unless you smell it properly, and you can't smell it properly when you're smelling it out of that little hole on top of the can or a bottle. So always pour your beer in glasses.
We're kind of losing Annette a little bit there, but while Annette gets back, Duncan always says that too, because if you ever drink beer with Duncan Williams, he doesn't drink it out of a can. So sorry, Annette, we lost you there for a second.
He sticks his nose.
Yeah, out with that. Yeah. So yeah, you'll make the brewers cry if you drink their beer out of the can, because you're not getting the full flavor of the beer. You're missing out.
Every time you drink beer out of a can, a brewer dies. Is that how it works?
Yeah,
or cries.
Yeah.
Okay,
so that's important with all beers. So that's just a little education out there. It will help you enjoy your beer more, and it's not going to taste as bitter because you're also releasing the carbonation. Carbonation gives beer taste, and if you don't release some of it, it makes the beer taste a little bitter as well.
Okay.
So do you want me to talk about the beer, or just want to taste it, or what do you want to do now? You just want to
Let's
taste
taste
the
it.
beer?
You want to taste it?
Okay.
Me taste beer. Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Mm.
Ooh, yummy. Ooh, yummy.
It's
And your
delicious.
beer's good.
Oh, thank
It
you.
is. It's so
Thank you.
good.
I had a lot to do with it.
Well, it's a heavy burden to carry a beer with your name on it, Anne.
It is. It
It
is.
is.
Mm.
All right,
Mm.
tell me one thing. Can you pinpoint anything that the beer tastes like?
It tastes like flowers.
Flowers. Okay.
Mhm.
And I can tell you where that comes from. Is there any kind of bakery flavor in there for you guys? Like, I'm putting suggestions in your mind, but that's all right. Like bread or cracker or, like soft cookies or
I always
dough,
feel like I always feel
grains.
like beer kind of has a dough taste to it, like a bread taste to it. And that's one of the things I like about it because I
Mhm,
pretty much have never met a bread that I didn't love. So, and I
mhm.
think that's part of the reason I like beer is because it tastes
Yeah.
like liquid bread.
Yeah. And that's another name for beer. And so we do talk about bakery flavors when we talk about beer.
Mm.
Mhm.
Yeah, I really like this one.
Yeah, I would say definitely that. I think that's what I've always gotten from beer is that kind of bready sort of flavor to it. You know, that yeasty sort of flavor that you get from bread.
Well, yeast is another, yeasty can remind people of bread too, but the main flavor I'm talking about comes from the grains.
Yes,
Question.
Jane Brothers.
Well, my question is, so you were vehement about there being a head on the beer as you
Hmm.
were pouring it. Why is that?
Well, there's a couple of reasons. First of all, those aroma compounds, as you pour the beer into the glass, so all the bubbles start coming up. And what they do is they form the head and they stay in the head, and it traps all the aroma compounds and helps deliver them to your nose.
Delicious.
That's why.
Mm.
Yeah. And then there's another reason why you pour beer with foam. All right. Have you ever in
Ready.
your whole life ever seen a beer ad, whether it's on telly or whether it's in a magazine, where the beer doesn't have foam? You can go back.
No.
Never. There has never, and I've done research on this, there has never been a beer ad, and this is going all the way back to when TV first came out, all the old TV ads for beer in the 1950s, and all the magazine and newspaper ads before that. Every single beer has foam on it. That's because beer's supposed to have foam. Simple. It's
And it
as
kind of
simple as
Cool.
like
that.
it seems like there's something wrong with it if it doesn't have foam on it. Like it seems like
Well,
it's not like, oh, what's wrong with this beer? Is it old? Is it flat? What's up with it? So
yeah,
Ooh,
it should
I have
have
another
foam.
question. I have
Yes.
another question. Okay, so does the foam tell you, so like if you have a beer and does the foam tell you anything about the beer before you even start drinking it?
Yes. So the foam is a function of raw ingredients and brewing process. So you start with raw ingredients, and you make beer with grains, and some grains have grains all have proteins in them. So depending on the grain you use in your beer, that's also going to affect the amount of foam in the beer. So barley grain and so beer is made with barley, and you're going to have to say it with an American accent because people have no idea what I'm talking about sometimes.
Barley.
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 So people
Say
think
it
I'm
like an
talking about
American. Barley.
yeah, people think I'm talking about an island in the South Pacific sometimes.
Bali.
Barley.
So barley is the main grain for beer, and it has a lot of protein, and so does wheat, and so does oats, and so does rye. You can make beer. Also, all beer is made with barley, some degree of barley, which makes foam. But if you don't get a lot of foam, sometimes that can mean that the beer doesn't have a lot of barley in it. There's always going to be some barley,
Mm.
but not a lot of barley. And that's why soda pop and apple cider and champagne, they have bubbles, but they don't have foam, because the sugar source in all those things, whether it's fruit or it's fruit, basically, it has no protein in it, so it doesn't contribute to foam. So
Fascinating. I've
the more
learned.
barley barley you have in the beer, the more foam potentially it's going to produce. So beers, for
Okay.
instance, some of the mass-produced beers that have less barley and more rice or corn don't hold as much foam because there's not as much protein in those grains. But it's also about process. A good brewer understands where the foam, you can lose foam during the brewing process, and that gets pretty complicated. I'm not going to go through those steps, but foam kind of gets sucked away. The foam producing substances in the beer can get sucked away during process. Yeah. And
Good
the
to
other
know.
thing is too, the other thing is too, and it all goes all the way through to getting into the customer's glass. You've got to have the whole service side. You've got to have the right, it's called a beer clean glass, and it's different to a beer glass. And a beer clean glass, it's different to a clean glass. A beer clean glass will maintain that foam, whereas a glass that's not beer clean, it'll just flatten. And also the pourer or the server has to know how to pour the beer with foam. And a lot of the time they don't. So
I've
it's
noticed that.
starts
I've
with the
noticed that.
ingredients, goes through process, goes through the clean glass, the correct clean glassware, all the way to the serving technique is crucial for anything along the way. You can destroy the foam.
That leads to yet another question. Listen to me. I'm just questionlicious. So, okay. So is that why when you go to a place, like a brewery, and you order a beer and they get your glass and then they put the glass on the little thing and it shoots water into the glass? Is that why they're doing that? Is that
It's
why
one of
that
the
happens?
reasons. It's
Okay.
definitely one of the
They're
reasons.
making a beer clean glass. Okay.
Well, the glass already has to be beer clean, and what the rinsing does, it sometimes some people are a little sensitive to beer, the sanitizer that's used to clean the glasses,
Okay.
and so it rinses that off, and it also helps maintain the head of foam.
Okay.
The beer clean
That
glass
is
is
cool.
for the rinser. You have to. There's a sort of a series of washing steps to get a beer clean glass.
Okay. Yay. Okay. That was amazing. I learned so much right there. I know. This
All right.
is fun school.
This is
Yeah.
okay.
I just want to point out, Jenny, that the flowers that you mentioned, so that comes from the hops.
That's the hops. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
European
After
hops
flowers.
specifically can
Okay.
give a
So our next beer is an NA, which NA means non-alcoholic. So we have a non-alcoholic beer. It's called Company Pills, and it's from Southern Grist.
Oh, and where's Southern Grist?
You
So
know,
it looks like we
no,
might have
honestly,
lost
I
a
don't
net.
it's from Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. Okay. I think I knew that, but I knew that without knowing that. Does
Yeah, I
that
think
make any sense
it might be what
whatsoever? So, okay.
you
Yes,
go.
and it
Or it was
says
a
it's
nice
made from
phone.
mandarin and crystal hops. All right, so nice
Yes.
pour.
So, all right.
And
So,
you
when we're talking, wait, who's talking?
Oh, I think Annette's
oh
Oh,
well,
there she is again. Okay.
We're just having a little bit
yeah.
of trouble with you
Why don't you
freezing up in that. So,
am I
and we're, uh, not, you are back.
Nope,
No,
no.
wait, now you're not back. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and pour this beer. I'm gonna practice my pouring in front of the camera so everybody can see me pouring and pour. Now you said this is a non-alcoholic beer?
Yeah, this is a non-alcoholic beer. So,
Okay.
for those people that may be thinking of doing a what is it, alcohol-free January? What is it? No,
No
dry.
drink.
Thanks, Chuck. And a dry January, then you can still enjoy your beer
That's
with a
cool.
non-alcoholic beer.
So, all right. Oh, Annette, you are back.
So have a smell and a taste of
It
this
smells,
one and see if you like it. It's one of my favorite NABs.
oh, it smells so good.
It smells like beer.
All right. So
Okay.
one of the things you'll
Yeah.
do, you guys, is I will make sure that again, if you're interested, if you're listening or watching and you're interested, I'll post all of the names of these beers so that if you want to try any of them out, you can figure out where to get them. And I really think having a non-alcoholic version of anything is fantastic, and I think beer especially so. And this beer smells so good.
Tastes like beer. Smells like beer. Tastes like beer.
doesn't it?
Oh, it's delicious.
So do you want me to talk just for a minute about this?
Yes,
Yeah.
please. Do.
Yeah. So NA beer is really really, really difficult to make. So people out there, please don't expect every brewery you go to make NA beer because it's really expensive to make. You have to make the beer and then take the alcohol out, and that requires a lot of expensive equipment. So it's more costly to make than regular beer. And it's not something, and you need a lot of skill, and it's very, very hard to make a good one. So please don't expect every brewery to just make one. It's really complex to do this. And also, alcohol gives beer a lot of flavor. It's really, really hard to make an NAB or take all the alcohol out and actually have it taste like, a really good beer. There's a ton of them out now, a lot of them out, because this whole cutting down and sobriety and everything is getting more important, wellness and health and everything. And I drink a lot of NA beer. But anyway, this one is a really good example. It really does taste like beer. So a lot of NA beers taste like unfermented beer, which is called wort, which is sort of sweet. Because the sugar hasn't been fermented, it's still in the beer, and you can taste it, and it just doesn't really taste like beer. It's just sort of weird. And this one doesn't. This is why I love it.
It actually tastes like beer. Now, the first type of beer that we tried was a lager. And what would you consider this style of beer to be? I didn't quite pick that. Is this what
This
kind
is
of
lager
is this
too.
one?
I was
It's a
gonna say
lager as well.
Yeah, all beer all beer is either lager or ale, and it's to do with the kind of yeast that is used to make the beer and the particular conditions that that kind of yeast needs to grow and thrive and ferment.
See, I didn't know that either.
All beer is lager or ale, and it's not always a reference to the color of the beer or the flavor of the beer or the alcohol strength of the beer. You can get, yellow ales and black lagers.
Okay.
Again, it's the yeast and the conditions. Lager yeast likes X sort of conditions to ferment, and ale yeast likes different conditions.
Now, this beer has a really citrusy taste to it. I'm sorry I interrupted you, Annette.
Yeah, no, go ahead. That's from the hops, all right? So Anne read the label, and it's got hops. It's got two hops. They're called Mandarina Bavaria, which is a German hop, which tastes like oranges, Mandarina. And the other hop is called Citra, and it's a very popular American hop, which also tastes like grapefruit. So that's what the citrus note is from.
Okay.
And it's actually what's called a Pilsner, as the very first beer is. So this is a Pilsner, which is a kind of lager beer. It uses lager yeast. That's all that means on the bigger picture. And then the very first beer is called a Dortmunder, and that's also another kind of lager beer. So they're actually similar in styles. Dortmunder and Pilsner are not exactly the same, but they're pretty similar. And they're both lager beers, meaning they use lager yeast fermented at cold temperatures.
I was going to say, they like it cold.
Yeah. So you can also see it's very pale in color. Can you see
it's actually gorgeous. It's a gorgeous color.
Yeah, this is my awesome Pints and Panels glass that's got little beer fermentable critters on there.
I love that.
Little yeast diagrams and things. It's really adorable. So this beer also tastes sort of like bread and crackery in it because it's made with the same bakery flavors. It's the same kind of malt that they use, that Duncan uses in the Dortmunder. It's called Pilsner.
If you're looking for a beer flavored beer, but you don't want the alcohol, this is an excellent choice. I think that
I'm going to put the can up there real quick so you see what you're looking at here. This is the company Pils. It is a non-alcoholic beer, and you said it's from the Pilsner style lager, and again, it's from
Southern Grist.
Southern Grist in
Company. Yeah, yep. I will say for anyone that likes darker beers, Guinness Zero is an excellent example of a non-alcoholic darker beer.
Okay,
that's great, and I think it's a great option. I love it. Love it. All right, so let's go ahead and get on to beer number 3 here. It is the Christmas season, so go ahead and talk about this beer.
So, I'm going to say the name wrong. It's the Noel de Calabaza, which is a Belgian style. Noel, sorry, which is a Belgium style holiday beer, and this is from Jolly Pumpkin, which is out of Dexter, Michigan.
Yes.
Michigan beer.
Why don't you pour this one? This is a sort of a dark reddish beer. Pour this one.
It sure is pretty.
Hold it up to the light too. If you hold it up to the light, you'll see the true color. Otherwise, if you just look at it from above, it's going to look really, really dark brown. You can see on my window, see how it's sort of, you can see the red sheen on it.
Totally getting this head thing down. Look at me.
Look at that.
Look at Jenny giving head.
This is the part in the broadcast where we talk about giving head. Okay.
Exactly.
Not rated G. Put your kids to bed.
It's interesting because when I look at it, like if I look at it on the video, it looks really dark. But if I hold it up to the light, it's very amber colored.
It is. It's actually really
the light in my
This beer is sexy looking.
Oh, this is this has a very chocolatey. Am I smelling it wrong? Does it smell a little chocolatey to you?
It totally smells chocolate. It smells chocolatey to me. Or is that me just telling myself that I want it to be chocolatey?
However it smells, that's how you smell it. There's never a wrong. However you
Yay.
perceive it is good.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Raisins in there.
Ooh, this is it's very tart.
Heart. I
Stout.
know.
So
I'm
this
like,
is sour too. So first of all,
It is a very
last
sour
time-
beer.
and
all right.
it's
So the
also a
flavor
sour beer.
profile
So
I'm getting here, straight sour. Yeah, it's like the word is tangy.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's funny because it
Exactly.
doesn't smell like it's gonna taste tangy. It smells like it's gonna
Well, do you
taste
know
kind
why?
of rich and dark.
Yeah. Do you know why? It doesn't smell like it's going to taste tangy? Because
Why?
our tongues, you can't smell sour. That's one of the taste buds on your tongue. You can only taste it.
Oh, well, there you
You
go.
can't smell it.
This is my shocked look. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
You can't smell sweet either. They're taste buds on your tongue. You taste those. All
That's
right.
true.
So I'm just going to give you a little suggestion here. Does
Mm-hmm.
this remind you in any way of a sort of an aged balsamic vinegar?
Say that one more
Have another
time.
little taste. Does this beer remind you in any way of a sort of like an aged balsamic vinegar?
Yes.
It reminds me of vinegar. I don't know if it's an.
It
Yeah, I
kinda
guess
do-
it does.
It reminds me of like when you go to a vinegar place and you get the little barrels and you taste the
Mhm.
ones that are like lemon balsamic or um like a cherry balsamic or something like
Mhm.
that. That's kind
Mhm.
of what it reminds, like a berry type of balsamic. Yes,
Yeah,
it
I
does.
was gonna say, yeah, it does. It does. It has that tart fruitiness to it.
Yeah. So it's tart and it's
Mhm.
fruity. And I'm pretty sure it's got some spices in it too, but
Which
it's
makes sense
actually
because it reminds me of fruitcake.
exactly. So it's got I said I
Yeah.
could smell raisins in there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
A little bit of
Which
chocolate.
is
And it's got
perfect.
some like dark sort of sour plum flavor in there. It's a really nice beer.
Which makes sense for the holiday season. It's like drinking fruitcake. I don't know if that
Yes.
sounds appealing or not. I'm like, wait,
Oh,
what?
I like fruitcake, so I'm all in.
Nice.
well, I like
I do
real
too,
fruit
actually.
cake.
Wait, what do you consider to be real fruitcake?
The stuff that the stuff that you don't buy here in the grocery store, and that's sort of yellow, and it's got green glazed cherries in it. That's not real fruit cake.
Oh, that's the type I
Oh,
like.
oh, that means I'm not. That means okay. So
Well, I'm not
now
saying that stuff's bad, but real
yeah,
fruit cake
it's
is sort
okay.
of brown in color and it's full of booze.
Booze.
Booze cake.
Yeah. So
You just said words I like, Annette. You
yeah,
said booze
you get
and
all the
cake.
fruit. I guess it's sort of British tradition.
Love that.
Overall.
Hmm?
You get the fruit and you soak it in either rum or brandy or various other things for weeks and weeks on end, and then you bind it all together with suet and a little bit of flour and cinnamon and lots of nice spices, and so you come out with a sort of a dark and lots of raisins and nuts as well, lots of nuts. So you come out with this sort of darker. It's darker in color. It's brown. It's richer. It's sort of molassesy flavored, and it's really boozy, and it's
Sounds
really
amazing.
moist. It's full of nuts as well. It's just phenomenal.
Annette, you've never been sexier in your whole life than just that description.
Is that because I
I love
said
that.
nuts?
No, well, okay. No, you were just talking about all these things that are amazing, like booze and nuts and fruits. I'm like, yeah, I love all
Yeah,
those.
I love all those things. All those
Yeah.
things sound amazing.
I love them, and now I love you.
So see, one of the reasons I put this glass up there, see all these little pictures on the
Right.
glass here?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Shout out to Pints and Panels, by the way, who is the woman that did all this. These are all the names of fermentation August. So there's Brettanomyces, Lactobacillus, Saccharomyces, Acetobacter. I'm not sure. I keep moving out of the screen. So all these little organisms here, they're representative of bacteria that actually ferment the beer, and that's what makes beer sour.
That's
That's why this
great.
beer is
So,
sour.
so then this beer has lots of bacteria. Had lots of bacteria.
It's lots of good bacteria. They're the
Good
same bacteria
bacteria.
we use to ferment food. All right.
Oh,
So
okay. Okay.
it's the
Not all
same bacteria
bacteria.
that make yogurt and cheese and sauerkraut and vinegar. And so
Saying
these
all
are
the
all
words I
food
love.
bacteria.
Wait a second. You're saying that not all bacteria is bad? Science,
Hmm.
what?
Oh, of course not. Otherwise, we'd all be dead when we ate yogurt, right? And cheese or
Oh,
sourdough
Exactly.
bread. Or sourdough bread or pickles. So that's why beer is sour, because you ferment it with lactobacillus and acetobacter and all those food bacteria that make food sour.
Love it.
Very good. There you
So
go.
Yeah, this one is a good one. I think I don't know which one I like the best. I think they were also really different and really delicious. So
Yeah, I was gonna
I
say
like this one a lot. This one is growing on me for sure.
it totally depends on what you're in the mood for. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
I can't say one is my favorite because it just, it's like I like them all. So it depends on what I was, again, you said something about, when you were talking about being a Cicerone, about pairing it with food. I was like, I think it really depends on, what you're eating or what what you want in at the time. So it's all very delicious.
Sure.
And the Christmas beer is kind of a sipping beer. The two Pilsners, you can just, drink quite more, especially the NA1. This one's got much higher alcohol too. So, put it in a nice glass and sip it, maybe serve it with some food.
Well, and for me,
This
I
is
actually just really
dark
I don't like
chocolate,
to
eh?
chug beer. Oh, there you go.
This and just
And I like to
really, really good bittersweet dark chocolate or
sure.
chocolate cake.
Indeed. Oh, chug the cake.
Nice. Yeah, and I myself am more of a beer sipper. I can nurse a beer forever because I just like to taste it. And it's that's one of my favorite things. All right, so then all right, so as we move on to the hour mark here, we have an important question to ask you, Annette. What is your spirit animal? Go.
So I've got a really think I'm a dog, a spirit animal. What does that
Say
mean?
that one more time, sorry. We lost you a little bit there. We lost you a
What the
little
hell
bit.
is a spirit animal? What is it? I don't know
That's
what a
Ann and I
spirit animal means.
that's us appropriating Native American history. So,
Okay.
Anne, would you like to take
Forgive
that
me for not
question?
knowing what this is.
A spirit animal is an animal that you feel represents you as a person. Now, my spirit animal is the skunk, and Jenny's spirit animal is a fat unicorn
Oh.
riding a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
That is correct.
So,
Oh,
it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be a real animal. It can be T-Rex was a real animal, but well,
Wait a second.
according to some people, anyway.
it's like they I mean, in homage to the Native American culture, I understand that, but do us people really do think about things like this? I don't know. I just have
Americans do. Yeah, we do.
It's a big deal for Americans because
I don't know if Australians
because
about spirit animals. So I did give it a little bit of thought, but I still had to clarify what it really means. And this is really lame, but I just couldn't come up with anything except shrimp, and that's only because I like to eat them so much.
hey, that works.
That is not.
Do you guys? Sometimes, even though I've been here over 30 years, sometimes I can't remember if this is an Australian thing or an American thing. Do you call short people shrimps here?
Yes.
Yes, I remember that being a thing when I was like in middle school or in elementary school. That was an elementary
Yes.
school thing to call somebody was a shrimp.
So I've been called a shrimp my whole life because I'm so damn short, and I was always at the end of the school photos, because I've always been the shortest one. And we don't call, by the way, in Australia, we don't call shrimp. So
is it prawns?
Wait, what do you
call them? Actually, that's not true. We call the little itsy bitsy ones like salad, what you call salad shrimp here. They are shrimps, and then everything else is a prawn. So so that's why shrimps are like little people. So I guess I'm a shrimp.
I think you're a shrimp. I think in overthinking it, you've actually come to the appropriate conclusion: is that your spirit animal is a shrimp.
And you've
They're
defended your
delicious.
answer well, so I think you're definitely a shrimp. So
They're delicious. They can get around the ocean. There you go.
Oh, I don't like to swim. I don't like being in water, so that still doesn't apply. But I think I'm the only Australian, by the way, that can't swim. Just letting you know that, because Australians love to swim. I can't swim.
I did not know that about Australians.
I did not know that either.
Yeah,
So
they're a big
surprised.
swimming nation. There's always lots of Australians in the Olympics swimming.
Oh,
yeah, they are very good at it.
Wearing Speedos, the men, the whole men's Speedo things and all that.
Now wait, Speedos aren't a thing anymore. They wear those like bike short swimming things, and there's a name for those, but I can't think of the name.
Speedos are a thing in Australia. Just go there.
Are they still a thing in Australia? That's good news.
That's good news. That's great to know.
Like, at least there's
Olympians
still a
might
thing
have to wear
somewhere.
Speedos, but Australians have got the, what is it, the banana hammocks? Is that what they call
Well,
them?
we call them budgie smugglers.
Okay. Budgie
Bud-
smugglers.
Budgie smugglers.
Do you know what
What's
you
a
know? What a
budgie?
budgie is a budgerigar, right? I think you call them parakeets.
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
We call-
budgie. Oh, it's like from Flight of the Conchords. I had a budgie, but it died. Whoa,
Okay.
whoa.
Yes.
I like
I like
Okay.
pie.
Okay, that was, I was like, I'm like, budgie like parrots? Why would you put parrots
Leggy,
down
leggy,
there?
leggy,
Like,
leggy,
you know.
leggy, 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 leggy,
Baby
blood.
blood.
Oh, you know what?
Guys.
Someday we're gonna have to talk about Flight of the Conchords, Jenny.
Flight
We're
of
gonna have
the
to
God, I know. I have so much to say about Flight of the
Oh, I love
Conchords.
those guys. We saw them live in concert here, actually. It was a lot of
Oh,
years
that's
ago.
amazing.
Oh my God, that
Once
was
they
so
have a
fun.
Yeah, I love
movie,
those
and then I
seats.
want them to go on tour again, so I can
Mhm.
throw a
So
banana
anyway,
hammock
so
in.
in Australia, Speedos are known as budgie smugglers.
Budgie
Hey.
smugglers.
Bridging the gap between our
Exactly.
nations.
Coming together, culturally connecting, and insulting them all.
No, sorry, everybody.
Spirit
Uh,
animals and budgie
mm.
smugglers.
We're the worst. Yeah. We're gonna get emails. So
Uh-huh.
anyway, we are at the
I
hour
hope
mark.
so.
Wait. There's stuff. Here we go.
I just want to reach out to everyone out there. If you really want to just have a lot of fun and learn a little bit about beer, but don't want to get bogged down into boring books, this is my friend Em Sorter. And well, I mean, she's sort of my business acquaintance colleague. I would love to have her as my friend because, you know, I heart Em Sorter. But anyway, she does visual beer education. So she has this awesome book so you can learn all about beer in pictures.
Is
And
this
I'll
a
just,
children's? Is this a children's book about craft beer? I love that.
it's not a children's book.
Sorry.
It's called Hooray for Craft Beer, and it's you want to learn about beer and have a lot of fun with it. And I mean, she made the glass, you know, with all the little critters on there.
Right.
She makes wearables and all sorts of cool stuff. And
I-
it's a really good education book. She's an advanced Cicerone like me. She's really credentialed. She's a BJCP judge, has all the same credentials as me, and she's really awesome. And she does beer education in pictures for people that don't like to look at words very well.
Jenny, can we make sure we put that on our
We will absolutely put Hooray for Beer on there. And tell me the
Yeah.
author's name one more time. By
Em Sorter.
M. Sauter. E.M. Sauter. Got it. I will make
Okay.
sure that
Yeah,
that
and
gets
she
on
has a
there because
webpage
that's
called
awesome.
Pints and Panels. That's her webpage.
Okay. Pints and panels.
P&P.
Yep, that's
Pints.
fantastic.
Yeah, Pints and Panels. Easy,
Excellent.
good way to learn about beer and have fun with it. Her pictures are awesome.
I'm still just gonna put it out there that that's a children's book for craft beer. Sorry, no, even though it's not. I promise I won't do that, but still. All right, so we are about at a little bit over an hour, so we are going to start wrapping things up. But Anne, you want to take this?
Thank you, Annette. Thank you so much for doing this. As soon as Jenny and I decided that we wanted to start having more guests on our show, you were the first person that popped into my head. I'm like, I want Annette on our show because she knows so
Aw.
much about beer, and she's a woman in the beer industry, which, you know, there's not enough women in beer industry, which is funny because women were the first brewers.
They were.
I
Um,
did not know that.
Yeah, they were the first brewers. And so I was just really excited. I'm like, Jenny's like, who do you know that knows stuff? And I'm like, oh my gosh, Annette knows stuff. So thank you, Annette, so much for doing this with us. I really appreciate it. We both really appreciate it. And we know our listeners and viewers, they're going to appreciate it too. Mhm.
True.
Give beer a
So-
chance. Pour it into a
I
glass.
love
and drink
that.
it well.
I'm going to use that line. Give beer a chance. Annette said so. So hopefully, if you are looking for Annette, you can find her. Hopefully, I got it at Aussie Annette. I've also got you on LinkedIn at Annette May, and we're going to post your information on Fermenta. If you are interested in learning more about Annette or these organizations, then we will make sure we get that posted so that you can follow up for sure. For sure. Just so you know, Annette, guests on the Brother Sister Smart Dumb Fun receive a bougie, swaggy gift. Right now, all we have are tote bags. So guess what? You're going to get a tote bag. That's right.
I love tote bags.
Uh-huh.
I
Exactly.
can't close my door in my office because there's all these millions of tote bags hanging on the back handle. I love them. Thank you.
Yes, you will get a tote bag with our smiling likenesses. Thank you so much for coming on the show. You can support the Brother Sisters I made a special slide, Anne, so to tell people, see, look, I am good at self-promotion.
Yeah, no,
Great way
Jenny, I
to,
thought this was a great idea.
now, this is the best part, you guys. You can support the Brother Sisters for absolutely free. It doesn't cost you anything to support us. Well, not yet, but you can support us by liking, following, or subscribing to us on Facebook, the Spotify, the Instagram, or the YouTube. And again, you guys, you can do that for absolutely free. Even if you don't really want to listen to us, you can still click all the like and subscribe buttons, and then people will be like, yeah, they're watching the Brother Sisters. Because remember, we're ambient noise. We'll help you get to sleep. And look at Annette flexing down there. She's like, if you watch the Brother Sisters, you're going to be able to watch Annette. Look at that. Your arms are bigger than my legs in the best possible way. So yeah, put the word out to your family and friends, and then they can do that. And then they can, because again, you guys, it's like a chain letter of support without having to spend that dollar in the envelope. I'm probably dating myself because those aren't really a thing anymore. We're not a multi-level marketing system. We are just a podcast trying to get some followers. There you go. All right. There you go. I don't know if that actually worked or not. Anyway, sneak peek at next week. Next week, you guys, we will be broadcasting on Christmas Eve. That's right, Christmas Eve, where we will be talking about 2 different Mount Rushmores. That's right, we're going to do Mount Rushmores galore next week. The Mount Rushmores of holiday TV specials and holiday movies. We'll show us ours, and you're going to show us yours. That's right, we're going to put a poll out earlier in this week, because we want to know what your Mount Rushmores are of holiday movies or holiday TV specials. I've got some ideas. I know you do as well. So there you go.
Mine's the Star Wars holiday special.
Oh my gosh. Is that the one where oh, that one's terrible.
Yeah, I think it was only shown like one time.
Like once. And like I can remember the commercials for it because they were like, it's gonna be with Han Solo, and he was on for like 12 seconds or something like that.
Mom made us go to bed before he even came on. I was so mad.
It was so demoralizing. Like the things that we suffer through. So excited for that, and then it was
and then it was terrible.
Yeah, because it was all about Chewbacca. I'm like, who cares about Chewbacca? Come on, man.
All he does is growl. I want a Han Solo.
I don't want to hear about his Wookiee family.
Exactly. For some reason, my 9-year-old self is very attracted to him, and I don't know why.
Triggered. So anyway, once again, thank you so much, Annette, for joining us this week. And again, thanks everybody for tuning in. And we will be back next week with our sneak peek at our holiday, again, our holiday special, Mount Rushmores. So we'll see everybody next week. All right, I'm going to turn on, I'm going to go with Dance Pop this time for our outro music.
Awesome.
Can you guys, wait, I don't have a volume up. There it is.
I still can't hear it. Oh, there it is.
It goes.
Oh,
there it is.
One. Yeah.
I know you really like this one.
I really like this
we'll go with that. I got to put my brand up. There we go. I got to shut that one down right there. That's what I want to shut down. Wait, I got to put the brand up. There we go.
Weird thing in my house.
Nice. All right, everybody, thanks for joining us. We are the Brother Sisters. This was Sparked on Phone, the Brother Sisters, Annette May. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year. We will see you guys next week on Christmas Eve. Peace.
Bye.
Out.